All right, I'm going to get started. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Tri-Cities Regional Chambers Annual Meeting and Awards Lunch. Got a lot to cover today, and I'm Marty Conger. I am the past chair of this vibrant organization, the Regional Chamber, and I'm really pleased to see over 550 people here today in attendance. That's outstanding. Well done. So our annual meeting celebrates the accomplishments of the Regional Chamber, our volunteers, our outstanding members, and it feels to me a little bit like the Academy Awards. Probably not as funny. I'm not as funny as Jimmy Kimmel by far. Okay, there's no red carpets, there's no celebrities, but the similarities. Well, celebrities except possibly for our elected officials, which I'll announce a little bit later, and of course, our celebrity is our keynote speaker, Alexander Diaz, and he's going to be, and I'm looking forward to, and he's going to be talking about Uber and our driving innovation, so I'm looking forward to that discussion. So today, just like the Academy Awards, today we're celebrating, or today we can only do something like this with the financial support from many sponsors. So instead of peppering you with commercials throughout, I'm going to announce all of our sponsors and recognize them. And so as I go through this, I would appreciate if you would just hold your applause until I get to the end. So sponsors for today's event is, the premier sponsor is Numerica Credit Union. Yay! Right here. They won an award. This is the 6th year as the premier sponsor, and we're grateful to have you and delighted to have you come back again this year. Thanks so much. Our diamond sponsor is Cascade Natural Gas Corporation. There. You people do not follow instructions well. Our gold sponsor is Three Rivers. There's several. There's Three Rivers Convention Center, Agri Northwest, Tri-City Herald, and Cadillac Regional Medical Center. Our silver sponsors are Town Square Media, Versatile Design Studios, KNDU TV, CG Public House and Catering. Our bronze sponsors are Silverwood Theme Park, Brashears Photography, Floor Federal Services, Eastern Washington University, X-Pro IAV, Benton PUD, Bettendorf's Printing and Design, Art Center Task Force, Kenrick Flower Shop, and Ag World Support Systems. I'd also like to recognize our friends from Charter Communications who are so graciously filming today's program for rebroadcast. So, if you would, this comes to the point of time, I know everybody started, but if you would just briefly stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. So, as past chair, I get a few minutes to talk about the year we had in 2016. And I won't take a lot of your time, but 2016 was a time for transformation. We started out in early 2015, and we decided we need to redefine the future of the Tri-Cities Regional Chamber. What was staring us in the face was that the future was going to be vastly different than the past, and we needed to be prepared. Fortunately, we had a group of regional executives got together and from chambers and actually crafted what we call the Horizon Initiative, what they call the Horizon Initiative, and it was kind of a strategic plan about how chambers need to evolve over roughly the next decade. And we used that as a little bit of a catalyst and a little bit of a jump start to figure out what the Tri-City Regional Chamber needed to do to grow and to become a better chamber going forward and actually be prepared for a future that was going to be considerably different than the past. So the chamber came up with a set of 2020 objectives that we want to look forward to the year 2020. There's three major elements of it. It is to engage, it is to build, and it is to lead. I'm going to talk a little bit really briefly about this just to give you a sense of what the impact of this is. So in engaging, we want to engage stakeholders throughout the Tri-Cities, whether it be our members, whether it be elected officials, whether it be business leaders, and we need to develop innovative strategies about how we go forward. Some of the things we hope to do in that regard. We want to have really worthwhile and two-way relationships with leaders across the region. We want to actually get diversity, more diversity in the chamber, and more diversity in our membership. We want to reach out to the future leaders, to the younger generation if it be. We want to make sure that our chamber leadership reflects the diversity of the population of the Tri-Cities and the population of our diverse membership. So we want to have those. We want to foster those new members and make sure that the chamber itself is as diverse as the membership. We also, and very important, we want to contemporize member communications. You've seen a little bit with that with some of the surveys we're doing. But as time goes on, we want to tailor communications to you, to give you the information and the benefits you need from this chamber, tailored to you, versus kind of a broadcast approach to communication. So be watching as we kind of move forward with our communication. That's going to be far more tailored and focused on what you need to know and what you want to know. The next is to build, and that's to build capacity for increased economic and leadership resources. Leadership means people. Economic, obviously, is obvious. So in that regard, what we want to do is develop a high-performance team for the chamber. The chamber has been growing. We've been adding new people. We're looking to recruit and retain the very strong leadership for your chamber. And we want to make sure that the chamber itself is a leader organization in the Tri-Cities. We're seeing the chamber taking an increasingly bigger role in certain aspects, and I think that's really very positive, certain aspects of the Tri-Cities. I'll talk a little bit of that too. And we want to develop and retain catalytic volunteers and leaders. We've had an outstanding board, and we've done very, very well with the board and the leadership, and we've got a ton of really engaged volunteers. So we want to develop on top of that and make sure that both the board and our leadership and our volunteers that help the chamber achieve its mission are again, both diverse and as well as those people that really want to get things done. We're going to align the chamber's resources with our mission. We've seen our mission start to shift. We'll talk a little bit about that, but our mission has started to shift, and we have a same old model about let's get membership resources through dues, or let's get membership resources through sponsoring events. We've challenged ourselves to say, are any events that we're going to offer, are they in fact putting forward our mission? And so we're going to evaluate the events that we put on and other new events. Are they really helping us achieve our mission as the chamber? Further, we're going to take a look at our revenue models. We may change. We probably will change. We may offer you a membership model that says you can buy into certain aspects. If you're not interested in this part of the chamber, you don't pay for that. But if you're interested in this, you'll pay a little extra for that. So we're trying to develop so that when you contribute your financial resources to being a member of the chamber, you're getting the most out of it. And we're going to champion community and economic development initiatives. You see us reaching out now to not just be a chamber that's looking at just membership, just business membership. We think we further the purpose of the chamber and the purpose of our membership by getting more actively involved in community and economic development initiatives. And that was one of the things that the Horizon Initiative concluded, that chambers are showing an increasingly larger and growing mission and impact within the communities, and that's exactly what we want to do as well. And lastly, we want to lead the region to a dynamic economy and quality of life. Now that's big words. Lead the region to a dynamic economy and quality of life. So there, we want to advance policies that strengthen business and improve the region's economic climate and quality of life. We also want to develop solutions and advocate for actions in this region that move the ball forward, that optimize this region. The Tri-Cities is such a wonderful place, growing. I refer to it as 1,000 flowers blooming. But who's planting out the garden? And so the idea here is that the chamber can have a role in trying to bring together community stakeholders in a way that maybe we can develop a regional strategic plan, that we can kind of plan out that garden, kind of a roadmap of sorts if we can, and to actively pursue and capture growth, and maybe have a little bit of an idea where the Tri-Cities is going, where all you want the Tri-Cities to go. So we've actually already started an effort where we're building stakeholders, we're actually engaging stakeholders, members, and just individuals for that matter. It's a facilitated effort where we're going to go through and kind of try to create that regional strategic plan and a roadmap for the Tri-Cities. Because we believe that our collective futures are optimized by creating and having a shared vision and matching that with the collaboration of people across the Tri-Cities. So to wrap it up, these are exciting times, full of change. And I'll tell you, I am really gratified that the Chamber chose me to lead this effort, this change effort, to chart a new course. And one that I know, I'm very, very confident, will ensure that we remain a vibrant organization and extend our reach to better serve you, our member businesses. So I want to thank you all for a great year, and Lori and the rest of the board, thank you for giving me this opportunity to lead the Chamber. Thank you. So stay tuned. I think the evolution of the Chamber will be very exciting, and I think you're going to start seeing the changes to take hold here this year and the next couple of years. So in my position as board chair, I've been fortunate to have the opportunity to work with many talented and successful business leaders throughout the Tri-Cities community. I'll tell you what, the Regional Chamber is well served by an active and diverse board of directors, some really top flight people. Currently, the board is 39 strong. And so I would like to take a minute as part of our recognition program here, our mini Academy Awards, to recognize our board. And I'm going to call them by name and then ask them to stand. And so please remain standing and hold your applause till we're done. So joining me on the executive committee is board chair, I'm past chair, is board chair Tony Umick, AQU Enterprises. Unfortunately, Tony couldn't be here today, doctor's orders, but we wish him a swift recovery. Chair-elect is John Ziobro from the firm of Telquist, Ziobro, McMillan, Clare. Our treasurer is Chris Rivard from Ross Adams. Our vice chairs are Melinda Gerard, Washington River Protection Solutions, Annie Jacobs from Hapo Community Credit Union, Dean Moody from Intermountain West Insulation, Khurshid Sharifov from Century Securities Associates, Inc., Brett Spooner from Gravis Law, Derek Stricker CRE, and members of the Board of Directors are Ron Boninger, Iron Switchback, Paul Carlisle, Elevate, Megan Chalk, Iron Mountain Construction, Will Evans, Agra Northwest, Sean Flaherty, Tri-City Herald, Shay Frechette, Frechette Winery, Lori Fritz, Bechtel National Inc., Nick Gonzalez, Boughton Construction, Kedrick Jackson, American Tax Consultants, Russ Kiefer, Trios Health, Carlos Martinez, Durashine Clean Company, McWhorter, Payne West Insurance, Karen Miller, Benton PUD, Mike Miller, no relation, Moon Security Services, Inc., Vicky Montegredo, Century 21 Tri-Cities, Ray Moss, Mission Support Alliance, Scott Parnell, CH2M Hill Plateau Remediation, Brad Rue, Gail Rue Construction, Bill Robertson Nissan, Anna Ruiz Peralta, New York Life Insurance, Lane Savage, Cadillac Regional Medical Center, Bill Shipley, CHS Connell Grain, Steve Simmons, CG Public House and Catering, Jess Stanglin, Fuse, SPC, Matt Sweezy, Primera Advisors, David Tobias, Tyson Foods, Renee Vasquez, Ennis Fine Furniture, and last but not least, Ted Vouse, Investment Northwest Financial. Please join me in thanking this outstanding board. The board gives an awful lot of time to the chamber, not just board meetings, but almost everyone's on a subcommittee and helping steer your chamber to a path of success. So, at the end of 2016, we also had a couple of outgoing board members. One, I'd like to invite up John Crook, Paragon Corporate Housing, to join me so that we can present him a token of our appreciation. So John has served on our board. Thank you, John. John served on the board since the merger in 2006. He's been on the executive committee and was board chair in 2012. John, and I remember this very well when the donuts disappeared, John was the catalyst for creating the Chamber's Good Health is Good Business program, and they have not returned. The donuts have not. So we appreciate, John, we appreciate your leadership, your time, and your effort. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thanks. John has been a tireless servant of the Chamber. And I think he was probably the most challenging chair until I came along. We need to recognize one other member that's outgoing, Scott Oxenford from Bechtel National. Unfortunately, Scott could not be here today, but we'd like to thank him for serving on the board, and we have an award we will get to him. So let's give John and Scott a big round of applause for all they've done and continue to do for the Chamber. So, the Chamber also has a number of ex officio members. These are individuals that represent partner organizations, and they remain actively engaged with the Chamber's Board of Directors, attending the Board of Director meetings, and reporting out on the wonderful things going on in the Tri-Cities. So we'd also like to recognize these individuals, kind of our local celebrities, if you would, by asking them to stand and thank them for their participation. So Sherry Strong, the Ambassador Club, Commissioner Bob Larson, Port of Benton, Councilman Brad Anderson, City of Richland, Commissioner Don Barnes, Port of Kennewick, Commissioner Jim Beaver, Benton County, Commissioner Rick Miller, Franklin County, Mayor Pro Tem Don Britton, Franklin County, excuse me, Mayor, I didn't know you moved, Mayor Pro Tem Don Britton, City of Kennewick, Council member Don Engelman, City of West Richland, Jack Fitzgerald, Benton Franklin Workforce Development Council, Jason Mercier, Washington Policy Center, Ken Fincher, WSU Tri-Cities, Randy Hayden, the Port of Pasco, Dr. Rick Schulte, Richland School District, Robin Chastain, Kennewick School District, and Stan Strebel, City of Pasco. So if you could give them all a round of applause for their help with the Chamber. So now the big event, Business on a Roll. So we have a number of Chamber awards to present today. We're going to start with the Chamber's Business on a Roll. This is kind of our version of the Academy Awards. Business on a Roll Awards recognize member businesses that achieved very significant success during 2016. Businesses who are nominated for these awards are divided into basically three categories. This is based on size. So the first category is 1 to 10 employees, smaller business. Category 2 is 11 to 50 employees. And the third category is over 50 employees. We have a awards and recognition committee that carefully considered each nomination, and there were many, many nominations. Nominees were evaluated for major revenue growth, adding jobs and hiring new employees, receiving national industry awards, and their community involvement. So the Chamber had received so many awards from well-deserving businesses, it was tough to make choices, but we did. So with the envelopes to present these three 2016 Business on a Roll awards, please welcome Corey Pearson, Executive Director of Three Rivers Convention Center. I have the envelopes here for you, Corey. So Corey, I'm going to leave these three envelopes for you. And I want to note that PricewaterhouseCoopers had nothing to do with this. Just a problem.
Yeah.
Thank you, Corey.
Thank you, Marty. I was hoping I wouldn't have to announce the wrong person, so that would not be fun. So I'm very happy to be here on behalf of the Three Rivers Convention Center. I'm very excited to give out these awards, and just remember, like the Academy Awards, there's 550 of you, so chances are you're not going to win, but you have 364 days to suck up to 39 people. So, and you just got their pictures. So, our first award is a Business on a Roll for category number 1, which is members that have 1 to 10 employees. This recipient has experienced a great deal of success in 2016. Their business saw revenue growth of more than 55%. In fact, they've grown their revenues by 50% per year for the last 4 years in a row. They saw a 40% increase in their clients over the previous year, And the partners from this company also donate countless hours of their time, as well as generous amounts of money to local charities and nonprofits. So please draw your attention to the screen so we can see this year's Category 1 Business on a Roll winner.
So this firm was originally started back in about 2006 when I sent an email out to a bunch of friends, and I had an accounting degree and told them that I was available to prepare their tax returns. And in 2012, I had about 60 to 70 clients, and I decided to take the leap and quit my job, my full-time job, and start this business full-time. I had a chamber ribbon cutting in January of 2013. And soon after that ribbon cutting, I had a member of the chamber come up to me and say, you know, Chris, your business just really seems on a roll. You should put an application in for the Business on a Roll award. And I thought, well, there's only one problem with that. I'm not really on a roll. I only had maybe just over 100 clients when she approached me, and I barely had enough income coming from the business to cover the expenses.
When we first opened up the office here, at the time of the ribbon cutting, it was a small office, one very small kind of side office, one main office in the reception area. Had a large remodel and an expansion of our office, and we about doubled the square footage. Put in 3 new offices, a break room, a storage room.
The firm's really grown. You know, convincing Walter to partner up with me was really the best professional decision I made with this firm. He brought a wealth of experience. He'd been working as a CPA for many years in the Tri-Cities. Later on that year, we hired Michelle as a full-time accountant, and Michelle recently became a CPA, which is fantastic. She's been a great employee. We hired the next year, and in 15, we hired Amelia as a full-time office manager, and she's just been a very hardworking, very dedicated employee. And then in 16, hired Frank. As the firm's grown, we've really tried to give back to the community. I was approached by the Cadillac Foundation to be a member of their board of trustees at the end of 2014. Both Walter and I have volunteered with various youth organizations as coaches for various teams. We've also been Boy Scout leaders. I know Michelle, Amelia, and Frank have also been involved in the community a lot.
At the time of the ribbon cutting with the chamber, I think the firm had about 70 clients. And in 2017, we're on pace currently to do over 1,000 tax returns this year. So we've just had a great amount of growth, and we're really appreciative of the opportunity to work with so many great people here in the Tri-Cities.
We've just tried to offer a very high level of service to our clients. When we prepare their tax returns or when we do payroll for their business or bookkeeping, every client gets our attention. We try to return emails and phone calls. We try to make sure we explain tax law and explain answers to their questions in plain English. With every tax return we do, we try to make sure we actually try to save the client money. We're very strategic. We hunt for deductions, and we don't just try to enter data into the computer. We try to make sure we're getting them the best tax result possible.
Congratulations, Porter Kenny. Now to accept their award, please welcome the founding partners, Chris Porter and Walter Kinney. All right, the second Business on a Roll award is for the Category 2, and it is for members that employ 11 to 50 employees. This business experienced a whopping 56% growth in revenue during the 2016 year. They're a proud sponsor of Second Harvest, serving the entire Tri-Cities, and this company is committed to helping these people in the region, starting multiple programs to give back to the community, with more on the way in 2017. Please draw your attention to the screen to see this year's winner for Category 2 Business on a Roll.
I'm Kenny Teasdale, president of Smooth Moves Moving and Storage. We're a full-service moving and relocation company as well as storage. Prior to this, I was in the United States Navy for 4 years, stationed in Whidbey Island, Washington. And once I finished my tour, I knew I wanted to help people one way or another. And long story short, I ended up in the moving and storage business. We help customers every day with the very stressful process of moving. Peak season for moving is known to start in March and end in October of every year. This is the busiest time of year. This is when rates change. So usually during that time frame, we're doing anywhere between 3 and 6 moves a day. Outside of the peak season, we'll probably do 1 to 3. So during the summer months, we're a very, very busy company. We have trucks running all over the place. As we know, the economy in Tri-Cities has been substantially well. And as far as the moving and storage business goes, we stay very busy moving people in and out. We've spent quite a few years on getting the name built here in Tri-Cities, and now people are actually contacting us outside of Tri-Cities to do moves for them as well. We've been highly involved with the Chamber of Commerce for a handful of years now. Our PR manager has won multiple awards as far as the Ambassador of the Quarter, Ambassador of the Year, so on and so forth. Working with the Chamber has produced a lot of good leads for our company, a lot of networking events, and the overall quality of business from these referrals has been really good for our business. We do a handful of charity events and community involvement. One big one that a lot of people know is Healed with a Kiss. We donate trucks for that to be used as far as deliveries. We also donate trucks for Cool Desert Nights and quite a few different other charity events. Whether you're moving across the street or across the country, we're able to take care of your relocations because we are an agent of Stevens Worldwide Van Lines. Stevens Worldwide Van Lines has multiple trucks throughout the country that we're able to put shipments on to get transported safely. I believe what makes us different than other moving companies is our customer service. We go above and beyond to make sure our customer is happy with the end result. From the time you call the office to the end of the move, we work very hard to make sure that you're very well taken care of and your move is a smooth move.
Congratulations, Smooth Moves. Now to accept their award, please welcome owner Kenny Teasdale and his mother and proud ambassador, Sherry Strong. All right, the final Business on a Roll award is for Category 3, which is 51 or more employees. This year's award winner experienced overall income growth of 63% and 46% increase in new clients. They increased their staff by 52% in 2017. The company has won the Home Care Excellence Award 11 times, as well as a Grand Champion Award for the Walk to End Alzheimer's. This company invests in their employees, which allows them to provide quality care to their customers with compassion and respect. Please draw your attention to the screen for this year's Category 3 winner for Business on a Roll.
My name is Christine Rose Van Wormer. I purchased the Visiting Angels here in the Tri-Cities in July of 2015. We are a smaller family-owned, veteran-owned home care agency here in the Tri-Cities that provides assistance in daily living needs to our seniors and those with disabilities in our community. We assist with bathing, dressing, light housekeeping, medication reminders, transportation to appointments, companionship, and just overall safety and well-being. Growth in 2016 was phenomenal. We had almost doubled our hours, billable hours for client services, and we went from 60 employees to almost 130. With that growth as well, we were able to retain at least 80% of our caregivers, which is amazing in the healthcare industry. So one thing that we're really proud of doing this last year is having Brian Flonis, a retired Seahawks player, come down and partner with Visiting Angels and Meals on Wheels to bring goodwill and cheer to our seniors in the community. And I tell you, their faces just lit up, and it was just awesome. We had one caregiver where her client was not ambulatory, she was wheelchair bound, and she was in the basement portion of the house, and it was a tri-level home. The husband was upstairs taking care of something while our caregiver was assisting this patient. And she quickly noticed that the room started filling up with smoke. With this particular caregiver's training in emergency situations, she was able to quickly assess the situation and get this client to safety. And this is one of the main reasons why Visiting Angels is so important in the community, because our angels will help provide peace of mind and provide that safety component that our clients of the older generation really need.
Congratulations, Visiting Angels. Please welcome their owner and director, Christine Rose Van Wormer.
Got up there. Oh, Corey, you forgot an envelope. No, just kidding. So I want to, well, thank you first of all to Corey for doing such a terrific job. That first picture, I felt like I was surrounded by giants. So my congratulations and congratulations for the whole chamber to Porter Kinney, Certified Public Accountants, Smooth Moves, LLC, and Visiting Angels Living Assistance Services. And isn't it amazing to see the businesses in the Tri-Cities like this grow and thrive? And it just shows what a great business environment we have. It also shows just what talented people and driven people we have here in the Tri-Cities. So I want to wish you and the other nominees continued success for 2017. And again, thanks to Corey Pearson and the Three Rivers Convention Center for your gold level sponsorship. And we have to give a round of applause to Up Angel Drone Services for that fantastic videos. Didn't they do a good job? Very nice. I'm very impressed. I don't think they did them with drones, but it was still great. Now, allow me to get off the stage and introduce the President and CEO of the Regional Chamber, Lori Matson.
Marty, before you run off the stage, we have one final board member to acknowledge, and that's Marty. We always give a token of our appreciation. You know, as Marty mentioned, introduced all of our board members, we just do a great job of attracting really talented individuals to our board, and Marty's been no exception. So I've really enjoyed it. It's been a great year, as Marty outlined our new strategic plan, a really big year, and Marty's been a really big part of that. So on behalf of the board and the staff and myself, we have a framed John Clement photo for you, and again, thank you for your leadership and all of the resources that you brought to the chamber during your tenure as chair. So thank you so much.
Wow, thank you.
How nice is that? Right, I'm truly honored to stand here as president and CEO of this vibrant organization. With just under 1,200 members, the Tri-City Regional Chamber is the 5th largest in the state of Washington. And you, our members, are the driving force behind everything we do. Delivering exceptional value for your investment is our priority. We continue to emphasize on small business programs, advocacy efforts, member growth, retention, economic community development, and overall organizational strength. Through the hard work and dedication of 39 board members, over 250 volunteers, and a professional staff of 9, we accomplished a great deal in 2016. So I'm going to take a couple minutes to highlight a few of those things. With funding from Washington River Protection Solutions for the 6th consecutive year, we awarded $30,000 in essential resources to 26 small business members through the Small Business Incentive Program. We had 163 businesses from across the region became new members. We averaged 360 attendees at our monthly luncheons, which featured programs like Why Downtowns Matter, Aerospace Works for Washington, Create the Community That You Want to Be a Part Of, and our annual congressional update. We also hosted Brad Tilden, the CEO of Alaska Air Group. Our PTAC counselor led 30 government contracting classes, 509 client counseling sessions, helping small businesses understand the process of government contracting. Her efforts resulted in just under $64 million in contract awards to small businesses in 6 counties. For a 5th year, our Good Health is Good Business program made a great impact on our business community. The program, which focuses on corporate health and wellness, attracted a record number of nearly 600 participants with over 150 companies represented. We held 93 ribbon cutting and groundbreaking ceremonies for new and relocating businesses. We host 743 cars and thousands of spectators at our 23rd annual Cool Desert Nights car show. 205 business owners and managers learned key strategies for running their business at our monthly Business Development University classes. Our Government Affairs Department had a strong presence in Olympia, advocating on issues important to your business. And we completed the Tri-Cities Economic Gardening Pilot Program, giving 5 local companies valuable assistance free of charge. That program was so successful that the Washington State Legislature passed a statewide economic gardening bill based on our experience here in the Tri-Cities. These are just some of the highlights which made for a very exciting and successful year in 2016. But of course, none of this would be possible without a dedicated staff, and our team comes to work every day with innovative ideas and energy to accomplish our goals. So I'd like to take a couple minutes to introduce our team and bring them up here. First of all, we have Ashley Coronado. She's our business PTAC counselor. We have Elizabeth Holt. Not everybody's named Ashley. Elizabeth Holt, Member Development Director. We have Austin Nielsen, who's our Government and Economic Affairs Director. Tara Divers, our Event Director. Austin Regenball, who's in the back. Somebody has to run the AV, so Austin's way in the back. Dale Olson is our Sales Manager. Liz Renz is our Accounting and Administrative Coordinator. And Marie Corso is our Member Services and Programs Coordinator. So please help me thank our whole team for all the work they do for you, our members. Thank you. All right, thanks so much, you guys. All right, another group of people that are very important to the Chamber is our Ambassador Club. They're a group of 60 volunteers who help the Chamber by attending ribbon-cutting ceremonies. They serve as greeters. Many of them are helping us today. They provide leads for potential new members. They help with our newsletter and an array of other activities. Many of them are here today, and I'd like them all to please stand so we can recognize and thank you for all you do for the Chamber. So please stand if you're a Chamber Ambassador. Thank you so much for everything you do. We've previously bestowed the year's Top Ambassador of the Year award, and this year we're changing the name to reflect the founder of our Ambassador Club, Tom Powers. Sadly, Tom passed away in November. He loved our Chamber, and we loved him in return, and we thought it was fitting to dedicate the Ambassador of the Year award in Tom's memory. To announce the 2016 Tom Powers Ambassador of the Year award, I'd like to invite gold level sponsor Riza Khalil, the Chief Administrative Officer from Catholic Regional Medical Center, to the stage. And additionally, while Riza's coming to the stage, I'd like to mention that Lois Powers, Tom's wife, and also longtime ambassador herself, is here today. And I just want to thank you for sharing Tom with us for all these years, and thank you for joining us today, Lois.
Thanks, Lori. Catholic Regional Medical Center has enjoyed our involvement with the Tri-City Regional Chamber for many years, and I'm pleased to be joining the community here this year. And we're happy to be a gold level sponsor at today's annual meeting and present the Tom Powers Ambassador of the Year award. Each quarter, the members of the Ambassador Club earn points by attending and volunteering at regional chamber functions. At the end of the year, ambassadors who earn a minimum of 100 points are awarded bronze, silver, or gold emblems for their name tags. To give you an idea of the level of participation, the Tom Powers Ambassador of the Year accumulated 650 points last year. If you've been to a chamber event or function within the past few years, chances are you've met this wonderful person. Please welcome to the stage the 2016 Tom Powers Ambassador of the Year, Cindy Fredrickson. Thank you again to Cindy and to our entire Ambassador Club. The Board of Directors and Chamber staff really appreciate your time and efforts. Thank you. Our next award is the Chamber Star Award. STAR is an acronym for Service, Time, Attitude, Reliability. And today this award goes to a board member that truly exemplifies all of these things. This board member was first appointed to the board in 2012 by John Crook. After just 1 year on the board, this board member was appointed to the Executive Committee. After just 1 year on the Executive Committee, this board member was nominated to be chair-elect. This board member served as the chair of the board in 2015, so it's no secret that the Chamber Star is Ron Boninger, 2015 Board Chair. But the reason he's the 2016 Chamber Star is because although his term as Board Chair and past Chair have ended, Ron continues to lead. Ron serves as the Chair of the Chamber's Regional Affairs Committee. The Regional Affairs Committee is a fairly new committee, first stood up in January 2016, whose primary objective is to provide leadership and a heightened understanding of opportunities and challenges facing the region. Additionally, Ron has been a true catalyst for connecting the Regional Chamber to Fuse and was very instrumental in creating the co-hosted event that took place last October titled Create the Community You Want to Be a Part of. Please help me welcome the 2016 Chamber Star, Ron Boninger. We are grateful that Ron lends his service, time, attitude, and reliability to the Chamber.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you so much for everything you do for the Chamber. I hope you know how much I've truly enjoyed working with you and continue to do so. And thank you, Riza and Catholic Medical Center, for your gold level sponsorship today at our luncheon. So at this time, we'd like to recognize some very important members by presenting our Impact Awards. These awards recognize members that have impacted the Chamber through their support and financial contributions. Today, we have 2 Impact Awards to present, one to our community partner organization and another to a corporate member. And to help present our Impact Awards, I'd like to invite Diamond Level sponsor Monica Collishaw, who's the Manager of Energy Efficiency and Community Outreach with Cascade Natural Gas. Monica?
Thank you, Lori. Cascade Natural Gas Corporation is happy to be a Diamond Level sponsor of today's annual meeting, and I'm pleased to help recognize a valuable community organization. As Lori mentioned, the Chamber is recognizing a community partner organization whose involvement in the Chamber has been of great value. This year's recipient of the Impact Award takes advantage of nearly every opportunity the Chamber offers for networking and demonstrates the value it places on the Chamber through their continued involvement. The Chamber would like to recognize the 2016 Partner Organization Impact Award recipient, Mid-Columbia Libraries. Help me welcome their Executive Director, Kyle Cox. Kyle, please join us on stage so we can recognize you.
Thank you, Kyle, and everyone here from Mid-Columbia Libraries. We really appreciate your engagement with the Chamber. So we're very fortunate again to have a number of members who invest a great deal of resources into the Chamber. Many of these companies not only join at our visionary level member, but they invest additional funds in the Chamber, making a substantial impact on our ability to grow our programs, services, and provide even more value to our members. So before we announce our Corporate Impact Award to the member who provided the most financial support during 2016, we want to recognize the 9 companies that round out our top 10. And I know we have a number of representatives from these companies, so if I call your company's name, if everybody from the organization would please stand, we'd appreciate it. Coming in at number 10 is Catholic Regional Medical Center. I know we've got a great group down here. Please stand. Next is Bechtel National. We could have our folks from Bechtel National please stand. Number 8 is Benton PUD. I know we've got some people from Benton PUD. Number 7, our friends from Numeric Credit Union, so let's have them stand as well. Number 6, Cascade Natural Gas. Got a lot of people there. Number 5, Gisa Credit Union. I know we've got a whole table over there. Number 4, City of Richland. I know we have our city manager and some folks from the City of Richland there as well. Number 3, Hapo Community Credit Union. Got a group here. And second is the Pacific Northwest National Lab. Now we've got some folks from the lab here as well. So please help me thank all of these members. Thank you so much. And now Monica Collishaw, again with Cascade Natural Gas, is going to help me present the Impact Award to the Chamber's top financial contributor for 2016.
Thank you, Lori. In addition to being a visionary level of the Chamber since 2008, this company has had a tremendous impact on a number of programs and events the Chamber has offered since partnering with them. In 2011, the Small Business Incentive Program was created and has been 100% funded by the company, providing $180,000 in resources to hundreds of small businesses over the past 6 years. Also in 2011, this member helped create the Meet the Buyer program and has funded it for the past 7 years. Meet the Buyer is a program of the Washington PTAC located at the Tri-City Regional Chamber that connects businesses with government agencies and prime contractors. The quarterly events are designed to educate businesses about what the agencies buy, how they buy, upcoming projects, and more. This member was the premier sponsor of our Women in Business Conference since its inception in 2012. This annual conference just took place 2 months ago and continues to be a can't-miss event for the region. The 2016 Corporate Impact Award winner is Washington River Protection Solutions. Please welcome Mark Lindholm, President and Project Manager, to the stage to accept this award.
As Mark makes his way back to the table, I'd also like to recognize Melissa Gerard, who's on our executive committee, and Jerry Holloway, who worked closely with us for the past several years to launch and help fund these programs, and all of the others from Washington River Protection Solutions. Appreciate everything you've done. It's been great working with you. And thanks again to Monica and Cascade Natural Gas for your sponsorship. So for the 6th year in a row, our annual meeting sponsor has been Numerica Credit Union, and it's now my pleasure to introduce Andy Sterling, who's the Vice President, Central Washington at Numerica Credit Union, to deliver our premier sponsor message and introduce our esteemed keynote speaker. Please help me welcome Andy.
Okay, thanks everybody. Thank you for joining me for the 2nd annual, hold on a second. No, these aren't my notes. Oh, this is embarrassing. You know what, can we try something a little different this year?
Sure, let's
do it.
Okay.
You know what, I get a little lonely up here. It might be kind of fun to have one of you guys come up and join me, maybe kind of have a very unprepared, unscripted, unrehearsed conversation. Anybody up for that? Anyone else? Anyone else? How about Derek Stricker? Derek Stricker, you want to come on up? This is a man that probably needs no introduction, but most of you know Derek Stricker from NAI, Tri-Cities, and also from Stricker Commercial Real Estate. Thanks for joining me up here.
Hey.
Sorry about the mess.
Yeah, a lot of paper over here. Andy,
Yeah.
right? That's your name?
Yeah.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Good to see you.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for picking me for this totally unprepared, unscripted, and unrehearsed moment.
Yeah, it's just you, me, and 500 of our closest friends. Let's get unscripted.
Let's do it. Where we go?
What? Oh, you kind of blew our cover, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. We're good. We're good.
Yeah.
Let's do this. I want to know this.
All right.
I'm down to know. You've been in Numerica now for a little over a year.
Yeah.
How's it been? How's the team going? What's up?
You know, I could probably sit here and bore you guys to tears with how much I absolutely love my job, but I'm gonna keep it short and sweet here. I get up every single morning, and I absolutely love going into work. I love the team that I work with. We have amazing leadership, wonderful vision that's shared with us, very transparent leadership group. I guess my only regret, and those of you that know me are going to find this fairly cheesy, but I guess that I just didn't join the group earlier, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. You can applause if you want or not. Doesn't matter. It's fine. Either way.
It's probably the best answer you could have gave.
Thank you.
It's true. I see you guys out all over the community right now, and I actually think I walked through the lobby on the way to this event. So
you did. Community relations is a big deal to us. Last year we gave over $1 million once again to the communities that we serve, so that was a big deal. Yeah, absolutely. Our employees gave over 13,000 volunteer hours, and I went and did the math, and this is not fake news. That works out to be that's the only political joke, I promise. That works out to be only about 30 hours per employee. So that's pretty cool. So I guess you could say we're staying pretty damn busy. Darn busy.
Edit. Hey, nicely done, sir. Nicely done. And I think today's sponsorship is an example of that community relationships that you guys are involved in so heavily. So I want to break it down for me, Andy. Why get involved with a chamber event like this?
Well, outside of the great party that they throw and the free lunch we're all getting today, right? Totally. That's not how it was. Okay, free lunch. But in all seriousness, they do a lot of things that align with what we're very passionate about. Again, I could sit here and bore you guys to tears, but Lori just rattled off like 20 really cool things. 93 ribbon cuttings, 163 new members to the chamber. What did you say? We're averaging 360 members every luncheon. Those are all really cool. The chamber truly represents the heart of our business community. And for Numerica, we're constantly impressed with the chamber's commitment to advocacy, leadership, and of course, the networking piece. Probably a good opportunity just to say thank you to you, Lori. Thank you to your team and all the sponsors that make events like this and events throughout the year happen.
Totally concur with you, Andrew.
Thank you.
We're all very lucky to be members of this amazing chamber, and that's very much happening right now. I want to know, though, what's on the docket for Numerica this upcoming year? What do we, the Tri-Citizens, need to know about what's happening?
You taking some liberties with that?
Yeah. Going rogue.
I like it. Well, we recently unveiled a 5-year strategic plan focused on a number of growth initiatives. Few things that are actually going to come to fruition right here at home that I'm excited to announce. We are opening 2 new branches, one on Gage out there next to Buffalo Wild Wings. It's really exciting. Yeah, you bet. And then another one out on Southridge, and we're going to be remodeling. Sorry, no applause on that one. And we're going to be remodeling our Kennewick branch. So we're staying pretty busy.
I'm going to insert a wah-wah, wee-wah right now because it seems like you guys are just not slowing down right now. And it's I really want to say congrats on the big year upcoming for you guys and your strategic plan. I want to thank you for being involved in our community, and I want to thank you for sponsoring this great chamber event today as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, Derek. There's just kind of one thing that's bumming me out a little bit this year. I kind of let you guys down.
Andy, what's wrong? You can tell me anything you want, man.
Well,
I'm
man,
here for you.
Here's the thing. Last year we did this really fun selfie stick picture, and everybody got involved, and we all had a good time, and there was pictures on the interweb. And this year I forgot the selfie stick. So, anywho.
You seem a little bummed about that, and it's okay. It's not your fault, and I want you to know, I don't want you to worry.
Okay.
I come here with solutions, unprepared, unscripted, and unrehearsed. So with that, I say, you can selfie stick time again, Numericans.
Nice. Okay. So can we try to bring it together again? At the end of the commercial, I kind of did some finger pistols. So let's get everybody up together. We're going to do another fun selfie stick picture.
You got to get out of your chairs a little bit, too. Come towards the center, please.
All right. Let me see if I can figure this out.
Nice. You got to get it.
You got to get it.
Oh, perfect. You guys are really good.
Or this is silly, though.
No, it's great. You're good. All right.
This is awesome. Look at everybody. I want to see the finger pistols.
Look at this.
Yeah. Laurie, you want to join us here? Where are we going to do it? Right here?
Yeah, here.
Oh, yeah. You guys come to me.
I'll get them, too. You're going to get some more of them.
Sit. I know you can do fit. Come on.
Here,
let's go. Oh, this is awesome. Yeah, let's get those hands up. Finger pistols. Oh, you guys rock. Got so quiet.
You get so quiet.
Nice. Nice.
Good job, buddy.
Thank you, too. Nice work.
All right, later.
No, you're not going anywhere. Nice. Thank you so much, Derek. Thank you to the Chamber. Thank you to all of you guys for making this so much fun and kind of putting up with some of the antics throughout the year. Thank you again, buddy. Nice work. All right, now it's with great pleasure that I introduce today's keynote speaker, Mr. Alex Diaz. Alex is a graduate of University of Washington. He works for Uber Technologies as a regional manager for the Seattle market, building strategic partnerships across public, private, and social sectors, as well as working on operations and logistical duties for the Uber platform. He previously spearheaded Uber's statewide launch in Montana, working to expand the company's reach, as well as Wyoming and recently the Hawaiian Islands. Before joining Uber, Alex worked as an account coordinator at Twitter, helping Fortune 500 brands plan and execute advertising campaigns on social networks. With his presentation, Uber, Driving Innovation, it is my pleasure to welcome Mr. Alex Diaz.
It's always tricky being the one to speak after everyone's eaten. So ideally, everyone's awake, and if that's true, say aye. Aye. Love it. That's what I love. Okay. So I'm both challenged and excited. I'm excited because I get to engage and communicate and network with those in the community that I serve. I am challenged because I am speaking on innovation, and I happen to know a company that is a little bit innovative, but I was also warned not to talk too much about the company. So I'm going to try to wing it a little bit and go back and forth. And with that, I'll start a little bit about me. I am the son, grandson, and brother to military veterans. I spent my entire life traveling around the world. Born in Europe, spent time in the Caribbean, and spent later part of my life in Southeast Asia, graduating high school from Korea, which led me to Seattle. I have worked for startups, advertising firms, and eventually found a love for community and technology. I have a very diverse view of the world. I believe in hard work, in discipline, that one size cannot fit all, and that creativity is not a skill, but a mode of operation. My first experience when it came to innovation was my senior year of college. I was asked to join a startup that was in way over its head, and I'm a senior in college, so was I. The idea was, how can we fund scientific research in an efficient manner? Very sexy. The easy answer is you can't. 95% of research that require grants don't get funded. You either have to spend your time writing the grant for something you've never done, or try to do something you don't have money for, which ultimately we can see how that goes. And so we decided to change the paradigm a bit. In the spirit of Kickstarter, we started a very shady website where researchers could put up their projects, speak to a community that cared about it, and ideally advocate for those to crowdfund. This is applicable because this is where I kind of tie into community and innovation the most. And it leads to my work at Uber, because one of the first projects that was funded was from a professor. He had found a dinosaur bone, a triceratops in the Midwest. Very awesome, but unfortunately the state nor the school would fund him. And while he spent a better part of a year to try to get funding, he took a chance with one of my colleagues who was a student. He put his project on the website, drove people to this very sketchy website that also broke from too much traffic, and in 4 days he was funded. A year later, he was able to get the applicable amount of students to go with him and start working on what would be about a 3-year project, and is now featured in the Burke Museum. My real point of that story is the norm is not always an absolute, and that innovation is creative change. Uber is known as an innovator, a company whose mobile application connects customers who need rides with customers who are willing to provide those rides. Only 7 years old, and in over 500 cities, the company has changed the means in which we travel around the world with one touch of a button. Who are the riders on Uber? The easy answer is all of us. Each and every one of us can easily download the app and experience what it means to take a ride. Okay. Then who are the drivers, or as we call them, partner drivers? Again, the answer is all of us. Partner drivers are easily individuals with the flexibility, happen to have a vehicle, and want a little extra economic opportunity to take someone from point A to point B and make a little money on the side. Two sides of a coin, rider and driver, but a part of the same whole. Which brings me to an experiment, if you guys will indulge me. If you guys can each take out your phone, hold it up, and then what I want you to do next is unlock your phone, and then I want you to hand it to the person next to you, and don't look at what they do. I'm joking, don't do that. Don't do that. Now, that was an extreme example. And those of us who've used Uber often kind of forget it's a little weird to get in someone else's car. You don't know them, and it's a little weird to invite someone to get in the back of your car and take them where they need to go. It's not a unique experience that we grew up being okay with. Airbnb is also a common example to this phenomenon. But that's also why we focus so much on community when it comes to the platform and the idea that riders and drivers are connected. That's why we focus so much on safety, where our driver partners go through background checks, where we go through any vehicle violations, where we go through vehicle inspections, where riders themselves, when signing up, have to put their billing address, their information, their photo, because if you are calling for a ride and if someone is willing to pick up that ride and you connect, they must see your name, they must see what you look like, because when you guys link up, there must be some mutual bridge in which you can connect. When you're being taken from point A to point B, you're able to share the status of your ride, whether rider or driver, to offer that extra bandwidth, security, of safety. And when the ride is over, you're able to actually talk about it, rate it, share it. Again, adding more to that connection because, let's face it, it's not normal. And so the only thing that can make something normal is understanding who you're speaking with, who you're connecting with, and who you're willing to engage with. And again, it comes back to everyone who drives and everyone who rides on our platform is very much someone a part of your community. The technology is there. What drives it, what grows it, is everyone in this room. I'll give you an example. And while I can't go into solid metrics, I'll do my best. I was a part of the launch team recently that brought Uber here to the Tri-Cities. Now, what we call the Eastern Washington service area, prior to being here, our metrics showing trips was somewhere in the low hundreds. And I'm sure many of you can imagine why. Now, recently, when looking at this weekly data, since being in Richland, since being in Kennewick, since being more involved here, we're very much and very comfortably weekly in the thousands. It's driven by you. Thank you. So the idea of Uber, the idea of what I believe innovation to be, I think it ties very much to, it could very much be one person with an idea, but it comes down to those around you. Because one man does not stand alone. Or woman, I apologize. You know what I mean. Now, during my interview at Uber, I was asked why Uber. It's not an uncommon question. Many of you have gone through interviews. There's two types of questions you always get. Tell me about yourself, the elevator pitch, or why XYZ company. So why Uber? And I said because I want to be a part of change. I want to wake up and know that what work I'm doing is providing a contribution. Contribution to me is being an integral part of something that my future children, my friends, and family cannot live without. That is what Uber represents to me. From rides to delivery to more. From rides, my best example was when I was launching Montana State. And you would think, and maybe it's just from being in a city like Seattle where people are used to big innovative companies like Boeing and Microsoft and what have you, that when you engage with the community and say, hey, yeah, we're a part of the team that's bringing this here, and et cetera and so forth, that they would be, oh, cool. And I was talking to a student at the University of Montana, and his reaction was quite the opposite. He got very serious, he looked at me in the eyes, he shook my hand, and he said, thank you. Due to the high DUI rates in the area, the only thing he cared about was another safe alternative for him and his friends to get about. And that's a really different moment. Another interesting moment was in Spokane a couple of months ago. I was engaging with partner driver. We were having a conversation, seeing how things were going in the area. How could we help? What are things we need to know about? What do we need to improve? And he tells me a story, and it scared the hell out of me. The story goes, he was driving after dropping someone off, and all of a sudden he sees lights behind him. Oh no, he should pull aside. I go, oh no, what did you do? It turns out the police officer comes up to him. He's also very confused, and the officer says, I bet you're wondering why I pulled you over. And he goes, you know what, yeah. The police officer said, thank you. Over the last couple of months, they had seen just a high rate of DUI, whether it was from local university students, big events happening from the basketball program, you name it. But what they noticed was a dramatic trend, a drop in incidents happening, especially over the weekend nights. And they very much contributed to this older gentleman and the work he was doing. They didn't say thank you to me or the company or anything like that, and the bottom line is we didn't do anything but provided a bridge. And so the idea that a simple ride can change something like that is unique. I mentioned delivery earlier, Uber Eats. Anyone that's ever worked in the restaurant business, has family in the restaurant business, I have an uncle in the restaurant business, you'll know one thing that's a pain in the butt, and it's delivering the food that you're making. Not to mention the type of insurance you need to get on vehicles, or put the extra time and payment regarding those vehicles, or the people that need to navigate those vehicles when they could just spend time waitering or cooking or helping to clean. Uber developed a platform called Uber Eats to provide a system within a restaurant where if someone ordered for food on their phone, they would see it, create it, and then a partner driver would show up and simply just deliver the food. Done. Simple. I mentioned more. Most recently, we've investigated what it's like to go into automotive vehicles. Unheard of. And now there's talks of exploring flying cars, which, like, I can't even begin to wrap my head around. It just takes me back to the future. But it's just this experience of doing more and exploring more. And it comes down to, again, what do people need, and how can we better serve the community? Now, I'll talk a little bit more on some other examples of Uber, but I do want to focus on the main subject, which is, again, innovation and community. And so I want to see what it means to be disruptive. What does it mean to be innovative? Innovation, in and of itself, is a reimagination of categories, whether products, services, operations, models, designs, you get the picture, that create more value for a brand and for consumers. Uber is not the only company that is known for being disruptive, for being innovative. You have Tesla, Airbnb, Spotify. If you've heard of any of these, say aye. Now, what do they do to get to that point? You know, what can we do to even mimic this focus, to be innovative? The easy answer, the cop-out answer for anything that you Google, be an entrepreneur. What does that mean? Now, entrepreneurship, being an entrepreneur, it's an interesting word in and of itself as well. Depending on who you're talking to, it can mean numerous things. But I think the context bias applied to the word is business owner. In order for anyone to take action on an innovative idea, we must first clear the bias out and remove and start with a new perspective. My perspective on it is be an owner, not a renter. The French word entrepreneur means one who undertakes. French economist Jean-Baptiste Shaw described an entrepreneur to be one who shifts economic resources out of an area of lower and into an area of higher productivity and greater yield. In 1934, Austin economist Joseph Strauder expanded on this and described entrepreneurs as innovators who shatter the status quo and use creative destruction to establish new products and services. Creative destruction could very well be a motto of this age and this day. Be an owner, not a renter. Innovative thinking doesn't rely on past experiences or known facts. It imagines a desired future state and figures out how to get there. Many of you have experienced this. Build the bridge. You see point B, you're at point A. How do you get there? That's the only thing that matters. It is intuitive and open to possibilities. Rather than identify answers from right and wrong, the goal is to find a better way and explore possibilities. Ambiguity is therefore an advantage, not a problem. Whether your focus is operational or involves your own practice of ownership, you can experiment with innovation in what I think are three separate ways. Number one, reframe the challenge. Innovative thinking can be used to redefine or reframe a problem. This is not a cosmetic or systematic change. It's a process of re-examining the situation. Often the problem we are looking at is too big or too small. By looking at a problem in a different way, you gain clarity and insight. By reframing a problem, you uncover new places to innovate, new angles to take. To reframe your challenge, you ask powerful questions. You challenge assumptions, you bring in multiple perspectives. And I'll use two examples here. Facebook, everyone knows what that is. Facebook, to get to where they are now, to be worth the value they are now, the revenue mainly comes from advertising. Now, advertising in the US alone has not gotten Facebook to where it is. The major consumer of ads is India. Now, what's the problem? If anyone here has been to India, it's pretty bad internet. LTE doesn't work there. So Facebook took a rigorous turn. What if we found a way to go back to 1999 and serve 3G advertising once again? Profits skyrocketed within the next quarter earnings, through a shift, through looking at a cultural difference, understanding the way their economy worked, and implementing that change. Another example, we'll go back to Uber. Uber is offered in India as well as some other South Pacific related areas. Now, what's the problem with trying to grab a ride in India? Well, not everyone has a car. Okay, that kind of throws out the point of Uber. What do we do? You know what people use to get around India? Mopeds. And within the last year, we have introduced Uber Moto, a means of transportation and delivery through mopeds. A shift of balance based on perspective and the community in which it served. Reframe the challenge. Number two, focus on the customer experience. This is kind of a no-brainer and we all understand it, but somehow it's almost the easiest thing to be forgotten. Innovation begins with really deep and empathetic understanding of customers. Even the most sophisticated market research can't replace firsthand understanding of a customer's life, how it is affected by your product, the process, the initial service. Get out and watch your customers or suppliers or employees, how they work, how they live, how they play. Procter & Gamble, otherwise known as P&G, and if you've heard of them, say aye. They always have those Olympic commercials that make you cry. Now, this is an extreme example, but P&G had members of their team spend time in people's homes, past customers, to understand how they cleaned, what worked and what didn't. If their people had relied on surveys, they might have missed out on the opportunity for what became the Swiffer line of sweepers, mops, and dusters. By the way, P&G is prominently known as the godfather of brand marketing, known for the 3 moments of truth. The first moment of truth is a consumer's experience when looking at a shelf. Seeing the product on the shelf, how does it make you feel? Can you react to it? Does it make you feel a certain way? The second moment of truth is you buy the product, you take it home, and you use it. Is it a horrible experience? Is it a good experience? Because hopefully it leads to the third moment of truth, which is you go back and buy again. Their entire life cycle process, from everything on their commercials to what you see to how they design, is based on the customer experience. And then number 3, practice rapid prototyping. This one sounds way more intense than it is, so bear with me. A hands-on, try-it-out approach is invaluable to innovation. Rapid prototyping, building, testing new things, fast jumps, past endless analysis to quickly provide a kind of feedback and knowledge takes time. Now, of course, what rapid means depends on the context. You know, some people, putting a prototype together could take hours, could take weeks, it could take months. The key is to create a small system, bring maybe a small team together, build that knowledge base, work quickly, understand what works, what doesn't. In large or complex situations, you can test out one idea or try partial solutions. I'll give 2 examples here. Again, going back to Uber. Seattle was the 11th city launched in Uber. Fun fact, the 2nd city was Paris. Now, because of Seattle having had Uber for some time, we are able to experiment with certain products. 2 of them within the last 2 years. One was called Uber Hop. The other one was called Uber Pool, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with, especially if you travel to the east side often. Now, Uber Hop, the concept was, can we trade commuters the experience of a bus stop to a very common one location to a quick drive to another location? Now, conceptually, it sounds like a great idea. It actually doesn't work. People love the convenience of getting picked up right here. I don't want to go there. I want to go over there, so I'll wait here for you to take me to there. And so, as conceptual as it sounded, not quite on the nose. Although it actually has worked, I believe in Vietnam is where it worked. I was given a recent statistic, but Uber Pool, however, the idea that we live in an economy that cares about efficiency, that cares about the environment, the idea that while a little odd at first, engaging with other people, likely going in similar locations than us, that actually resonates. And while Uber Pool is an experiment only in DC, San Francisco, and Seattle, it has expanded to most of the West Coast and East Coast. Another example. Who here is familiar with the Amazon Echo? Say aye. Okay, so the Amazon Echo, it was a very complicated process. Jeff Bezos, CEO of the company, was a huge supporter of it from the get-go, but he also held the team to extreme standards. One major concern of the Echo was latency, or the time it takes for Alexa, which is the personality of the virtual assistant, to respond to any inquiry. Average latency at that time for voice recognition, 3 seconds. Imagine talking to Siri, and it takes 3 seconds to respond to you. 1, 2, it's pretty annoying. And so they said that was the most important thing for them to work on, and I think our goal is going to be 2 seconds. Jeff Bezos told his team that your target latency is going to be 1 second. You can imagine they were shell-shocked. Also, what do you say to your boss when he does that? Now, the idea of where he was coming from was because they spent so much time arguing on the importance of latency, he said, if you find it to be so important, I challenge you to make it the most important thing. 2.5 was the record prior to this. The team did thousands of internal tests, data analysis, worked with people way smarter than themselves, hired consultants, and eventually, then a year's time, year and a half time, still continuing, they got down to 1.5, far exceeding the speed of its competitors. Now, again, this was through rapid, repetitive testing, and again, that was an extreme example, but it just beats it on its head that nothing comes by just simply hacking at it, but it comes through repetitive understanding. So, okay, cool. Do you know how to be innovative? I told you these 3 things. That's fascinating. What now? Here's the issue. Innovation is not always a good thing. To be innovative, you must be mindful, going back to the beginning of this whole thing, of the communities that you serve. People believe in the promise of innovation. They believe that innovation inspires and moves society forward. Now, if you believe in that, say I. It's something that we've believed since we were young. However, people feel that business innovation is too fast, by a 2-to-1 margin. In looking at research from Edelman's 2015 Earned Brand Study, 2 in 3 consumers believe brands are innovating to make money just for the sake of making money, that there's no societal impact, and because of these concerns, they ain't buying. Other concerns come from perceived lack of community and security. What else do you expect from people experiencing something new? I grew up my entire life traveling around the world, and I can tell you something, going to a new middle school, high school, elementary school every year, that is exactly what you experience when being put in something new. Consumers are twice as likely to want to be reassured than inspired by a brand. The channels of consumers rely on, peer-to-peer. Rather than brand to consumer, innovators win if they power the peer in the conversation. Your neighbor is literally your more trusted individual. Who takes advantage of this? Who took advantage of it first that we can absolutely call offhand? Amazon does, because the likelihood is someone's complaint is very much something similar that you're going to go through, and you're not going to go through that if they did. Inform and educate. Show me how I can participate in your innovation. It is not simply told, it is demonstrated and experienced. I'll go back to one of my personal experiences. When I started my career, I was part of the digital communication team for the Xbox One. We launched it. It was awesome. No, it wasn't. When we introduced a brand new console, for years people were used to buying their games, putting in a disc, plugging it to the wall. Everyone remembers back in the day at the NES, you had to kind of blow on it a little bit, put it in, shake it up. It was annoying, but that's what we're used to. And all of a sudden, in unveiling a new product, we told people, no, now you connect it to the internet and you download it. Also, there's a camera and it's always on. Very cool. No. People hated it. What do you mean it's always on? Are they like watching me? Are they watching my kids? Pervs. By the way, I was in the digital communication team, so I read a lot of this. It's unfortunate, but you can't force innovation. Who took an interesting stance on this? Apple, for the longest time, questionable now, but Apple for the longest time, early 2000s, when they unveiled product after product after product that was cool as hell, we didn't argue as much with them. Think back to why. I'll tell you one of my best memories of Apple. It always goes back to the commercials that they used to do. One of the best commercials that come to mind was a veteran out in the Middle East telling a bedtime story to his child through FaceTime. This is when one of the first iPads came out. I still remember that commercial. And through this almost educational, almost easily echoed experience, people will buy into the innovation. An express set of values informs what products are made, what language is used, how customers are treated, and ultimately the legacy the brand leaves in the communities it serves. Inform and educate. Without community, without participation, innovation is lost. Now, I've kind of thrown a lot at you, and honestly, the ultimate truth is innovation is ultimately what you make of it, and again, tying back to it is very much the community. But in summary of what I stand by and what I believe innovation at its core starts with you being an owner and not a renter. It starts with reframing what challenges you wish to take on focusing on the customer experience in which you're trying to solve and engage in, and on practice rapid prototyping to get it right. But to always, at the end of the day, serve to educate your community. Make it better than where it was. Remember, passion and enthusiasm makes things possible, not easy. Thank you.
Well, I want to thank Alex for that. I've actually a fair amount of experience with IT, and what he says about the consumer experience being key and rapid prototyping are actually really good pieces of advice. And by the way, I remember the first time I got exposed to Uber. I was in Washington, D.C. A short-tailed relative says, you ought to try this. I said, I'll never try that. Within about a month, I was a serial user of Uber. All it takes is downloading the app, and you can't help it. So anyway, it's a wonderful way to get around large cities anytime I travel. Before we end the program, we'll end it pretty soon. We'd like to thank all of our sponsors for their support for this annual meeting and awards luncheon. Our premier sponsor, the America Credit Union. Cascade Gas is our diamond sponsor. Gold sponsors, Three Rivers Convention Center, Agri Northwest, Tri-City Herald, Catholic Regional Medical Center. Our silver sponsors, Town Square Media, Versatile Design Studios, Candy U TV, CG Public House and Catering. Bronze sponsors, Silverwood Theme Park, Brashears Photography, Floor Fatal Services, Eastern Washington University, X-Pro IAV, Bettendorf's Printing and Design, Art Center Task Force, Kennewick Flower Shop, and Ag World Support Systems. And before we leave, it's interesting, we recognized a lot of people today, but there's one more person I would really like to recognize. Lori, would you stand up, please? Please stand up. Our CEO, head of the chamber for about 10 years now, a decade, doing a wonderful job in growing and changing and leading the chamber. Thank you for everything you do, Lori. And finally, have a question asked of you. If you could please take out your phone and go to slido.com. You enter code TCRCC, that's obviously Tri-City Regional Chamber of Commerce, and tell us, we want to hear from you. What do you want to see from your regional chamber in 2017? This is one of our ways of getting your feedback. Give us some. You don't necessarily have to do it here. You can do this later. Do it here if you like, but love to have your feedback. So tell us, we want to hear from you, our local businesses. Remember, we're here for you, so give us your feedback. And that's one of our promises of our new regional strategy, is we want to hear more from you and we want to adapt to what works for you. So with that, I want to thank you all for being here, and I want to wish you a successful 2017 in the regional Tri-Cities Chamber, a bolder, brighter, and better Tri-Cities. Thank you very much.